Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we're talking about Rebel Media, the right-wing political commentary site that's based in, wait for it, good old maple syrup drinking Canada. I swear half of my bullshit stories come out of there. Let's see, there was Lactatia, the 8-year-old drag queen who was from Montreal, the Why I Became a Muslim Girl and Vegan Gains were both from Toronto. I still haven't found out where that city is, but apparently it's somewhere in Canada. There's also that horrible and racist YouTube comedian Lily Singh, aka Superwoman. She's from there too. But listen, I can make a whole video about Canada's bullshit. I'm looking at you, Trudeau. But let's not get too sidetracked. Today we're talking about the recent exodus of reporters and commentators from Rebel Media. When Lauren Southern left earlier this year, I knew something was up there. She was one of their best and brightest reporters, and she up and left out of nowhere, with very little explanation. And many others have left since then, including Rebel's co-founder Brian Lilly, following a disagreement in the way Rebel was covering the recent Charlottesville riots. Lilly was quoted as saying this about why he left. What the Rebel suffers from is a lack of editorial and behavioral judgment that, if left unchecked, will destroy it and those around it. For that reason, I'm leaving. Looks like Rebel is really losing its way. Even Gavin McInnes is rumored to be leaving this month, and he's pretty much the only reason I still watch that channel. But the story doesn't end there. There's been a bombshell exposed type video dropped on Rebel Media, coming from one of their former reporters, Kalen Robertson, who spells his first name really weird. His video is called Why I Left Rebel Media. Kind of sounds like those Why I Left BuzzFeed videos. I hope it's a little more interesting. Let's check it out.
2 weeks ago, I actually left the Rebel Media. But what you definitely don't know is that Ezra then flew to the UK to offer $20,000 to make sure that this very video would not get made. At the time, I wasn't sure why on earth he was flying all the way around the world all in one day, armed with non-disclosure agreements and prepared to pay a huge chunk of what he called hush money.
And then there's the hush money side, which we'll talk about in a second. I want to break it into two parts. First is severance. Yeah. And the other is sort of the hush money.
Wow, these are some pretty heavy accusations coming from Kalen, albeit a bit dramatic, I think. There's also the possibility that these audio clips of Ezra, the leader of Rebel, they might have been taken out of context, but it does seem pretty damn bad, taken at face value. Then again, hush money isn't really always inherently bad. Companies give people severance pay all the time. People sign non-disclosure agreements all the time too. So I think there's also a big possibility that Kalen is overblowing this whole thing for attention and views. But then again, we do have hordes of people leaving Rebel for various reasons. I think we can at least say that there is something going wrong over there. Something's rotten in the state of Ontario, or Quebec. I'm not sure which Canadian state they're in, but those are the only two I know.
Personally, I think it's because we both knew too much.
Lauren Southern, Jack Pacific, we had our differences, but you'll notice that they've been positive since they left us. Why would Lauren fight with them? You see how smart they are? They may have grievances in there. I feel like I had a real hand in getting Lauren going, and helping Jack a bit, but he was pretty big. But you notice how smart they are?
Assuming that really is Ezra, the leader of Rebel Media, I think we could easily say that this guy has dealt with this kind of thing before. He talks about having a hand in Lauren Southern and Jack Pease leaving the company. It really seems like Ezra is a tough guy to work with. Perhaps he's even as unethical as Kalen and others are claiming. Like this part here. Check out where Kalen starts talking about Ezra's hot temper.
The Rebel commander has a habit of flying off the handle. After speaking to employees at the Rebel Live event in Canada I went to, it actually became pretty clear that these attacks were nothing compared to what actually goes on at the Rebel office. Questioning the Rebel's ethical decisions run you the risk of being on the receiving end of his legendary temper.
Next, we got an interesting perspective on why Lauren Southern really left Rebel Media.
Now, do you remember that Israel trip that Rebel crowdfunded for? The one that took place at the same time that Lauren Southern went independent? It's not a coincidence. It actually turns out that Rebel crowdfunded more than enough money to cover the costs of that trip, and yet they still demanded she make a video asking for more. Of course, Lauren refused, and after raising concerns about the ethics of lying for the money that they didn't need, she was unceremoniously fired and threatened with legal action if she ever spoke out about it.
Looks like Rebel is dabbling in some pretty shady crowdfunding practices, which is nothing new for people that use that sort of thing. People on Kickstarter and GoFundMe get in trouble with this shit all the time. Maybe Rebel's taking their go at it, but that's not even the worst of it. Looks like they're also keen on getting people's emails, so they can use them to contact and drain more money from their viewers directly. And how did they get their emails, you might ask? Well, Rebel Media likes to start countless petitions that require emails to sign up. Here's a funny little compilation from Kalen's video that he put together of all the times they asked for petitions.
To sign our our petition.
And chip in 10, 20, 50 bucks to sign our petition. I've set up a petition.
Sign our petition. You go to firebob.ca. Sign our petition. To sign the petition,
Sign our petition now.
and sign your name right now.
We've started a petition.
I've set up a petition. Sign our petition.
Please sign our petition.
We're launching a petition. Sign the petition.
Jeez, dude, enough with the petition pushing. This really seems scammy to me since, petitions don't ever really do shit. Looks like Rebel is pretending to be political activists in order to get people's contact emails and beg for more money off them. Not the worst thing in the world, but definitely lowbrow, and definitely beneath a company that claims to be news reporters. Now there's a few more claims in Kalen's video, so go ahead and check it all out yourself. I linked it below. The one thing I will say is he does seem a little sensational, a little dramatic. I mean, is he really surprised media companies want to make money? One ran by a Jew, no less? Come on, bro. We can recognize Rebel's shitty practices while also considering the fact that this is a for-profit business. I think this kid is a bit of a wide-eyed, naive millennial if he thinks journalists and media companies should work for free. And I also think part of his shock comes from not admitting this. Next, let's take a look at Rebel's response to Kalen. Ezra Levant himself recorded and released his response here almost immediately. I think that in itself says a little something about the seriousness of this situation. But let's give him a chance. Let's see what Ezra has to say.
I'm being blackmailed. I'm being extorted. That's what's happening. I thought I could make the problem go away, so I actually paid, and then I paid again. But then they threatened again last night, actually, and then again this morning, so I haven't slept. So I called my lawyers this morning, and I've decided I'm done. I'm going to do what I should have done a few weeks ago and just pull the trigger on myself on my own terms. That's the only thing that takes that power away from an extortionist.
So we got this poor little millionaire Jew playing the victim here. Pretty fucking pathetic guy. I mean, I'm trying to hear the guy out, but he really just seems to be so shifty and sketchy. And I'm not just saying that because it's a Jewish thing. He's acting that way. And note how he brings up his lawyers. Ezra likes to brag about his wealth and his connections and his big team of lawyers. A lot. Next, Ezra talks about hiring Kalen with some interesting caveats.
And the next day, Kalen said to us that he was fired from his full-time job because he appeared in that video with Tommy. Okay, well, I mean, I felt bad for him, and he was being helpful to us, so I immediately hired him full-time. No background check, no interview, just did it right then and there.
Here's where he tries to distance himself from Kalen. Saying he hired him on the spot with no background check is kind of a way for Ezra to minimize the blame he should be taking here for hiring someone without experience or proper vetting. I'm not really buying this excuse though. I would say that blame is still on you, Ezra.
And George was unemployed too, so we hired him too, full-time, right then and there. George and Kalen are a couple, I soon learned, but I don't care about stuff like that.
Right. You don't care that they're a gay couple yet. You just awkwardly mention it here for no reason at all. Well, I know your reason. You want to signal to your alt-right fan base that these guys are gay and that makes them terrible people. Nice try, bro, but you're not sneaking that past me.
Maybe they needed some help. So I gave them £1,800 for rent money for that first month when you need both rent and a deposit. But then Kalen took that money and went on a luxury vacation instead of paying the rent. I couldn't believe it. They were literally homeless, so I gave them another £3,500, this time for rent and for furniture, and I gave it through another friend I trusted so they didn't steal it this time.
Again, Ezra, dude, this makes you look bad, not them. Why the hell do you keep giving them money if they supposedly squandered it over and over? And I'm really not buying you being this generous, gift-giving kind of guy. You really strike me as a greedy, penny-pitching kind of guy.
So we got stricter about expenses. But things fell apart. I mean, sometimes they'd have quarrels and wouldn't leave their apartment bedroom to go to work. Tommy missed an important interview because of that. They were doing side projects instead of our work. They were moonlighting for a political candidate that we were covering. It was just too crazy. So I sent an old trusted friend over to the UK to meet with them face to face to say goodbye.
Funny how Kalen just accused Ezra of squandering the money he was given for charities. So now he's accusing them of squandering money he gave them. Projecting much? Also, Ezra wants us to know he has a trusted friend that he's known for a long time. Oh, and lots of lawyers. Ezra's a really important guy with lots of money, guys, just in case you didn't notice.
And then when I got a copy of the signed severance deal sent to me from the UK, it was even more than was agreed to. Look at those handwritten additions, and then they phoned us up asking for even more once it was signed. It was nuts. By now they were demanding more than 6 months severance for just a few months' work. Remember, they're a couple, so really more than a year's pay?
Don't forget they were a gay couple, just saying.
So I called up my old friend and he told me what was really going on. It wasn't for severance. It was to pay these two off, to pay them a shakedown.
We get it, Ezra. You want us to think you have old friends so we don't think you're an asshole. Oh, and you're a charitable giver away of lots and lots of money. Or pounds, whatever pounds are. That's Ezra's main points here, and I'm not really fucking buying it.
I mean, everyone knows where the money we raise goes. It goes to hire a lawyer for Chelsea, to fight against the police who wouldn't charge her rapists. Here's that lawyer right there. It goes to another lawyer for John Fletcher, the man who had the Don't Support Terror shop at Fletcher's, you know, that shop at Fletcher's, that sign on his shop. Here's that lawyer. Lots of lawyers went to Tommy Robinson's lawyer to keep him out of jail.
I don't know, Ezra. You guys do seem to hire a lot of lawyers. Jews hiring more Jews, I guess. It's kind of nepotistic. Not surprising, though. But maybe Rebel Media needs to stop doing shit that requires them to get lawyers all the time. Maybe that's the solution.
That's where the money's gone. And our terms of service on our website are clear. Any surplus money is applied to other similar campaigns or related expenses. That's our whole business model. That's not a secret. That's our model.
So it's not a secret, but you are getting money for the company beyond what your supposed charity goals are. Basically, it sounds like your business model is to start lots of charities and hope you get more than the goal so you can make money off of it. And sure, maybe you're being transparent about that, but that still sounds shady as fuck to me. It sounds like you're just starting charities in hopes to make money off the top. You start with a noble cause, supposedly, but then it turns selfish. Just like how you start all those bullshit petitions to supposedly help a cause, but then in the end, you're keeping people's emails and being selfish about it.
Well, I got on a plane and I flew to London to meet with them, to meet with Tommy and George Llewellyn John, who was speaking on behalf of himself and his boyfriend, Kaylin.
Gay couple reference number 3.
So I'm sorry, I paid it again. I actually paid this. Here's the contract I personally took to the UK to pay them off. I put in some money and Tommy put in some money and we got them to sign the contract.
Here's the thing, Ezra. You wouldn't have tried to pay them off so many times if they didn't have dirt on you. You say you want to avoid being accused, just to be safe, but I'm not buying that shit either. Some shady shit is going on at Rebel Media. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm sure because I can see the fear in Ezra's face here during this video. And he paid these guys off multiple times and he still looks scared as shit. Plus, not once in this 12-minute video did Ezra actually come out and admit what he did wrong to get blackmailed in the first place. I mean, that's how he framed this video up in the beginning. He said he was going to put the information out there himself so that he can no longer be blackmailed from it. But after all that, he really didn't. He didn't admit anything. In the end, people wouldn't be leaving Rebel Media in droves if there weren't problems there. If they were happy, well paid, and not noticing unethical shit like skimming from charities, people would stay working there. This turnover of popular reporters there is very troubling and very telling. In my opinion, Lauren Southern and Gavin McInnes were the only good things going on at Rebel Media. And now that they're gone, I could give two shits about what happens to that Canadian shithole. What do you guys think? Is Kaylin telling the truth about being offered hush money? Is Rebel Media desperate enough for money that they're skimming off the top of their charities? They did have to cancel that big boat trip thing they scheduled due to lack of money, which was a weird cash grabbing kind of thing, if you ask me. Do you guys really trust Ezra Levant here? Comment below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. See y'all next time. And in light of these new troubling developments, I highly suggest you guys join and follow my backup accounts, since the possibility of YouTube shutting me down is higher now than ever. Right now my Patreon page is my official backup page, and you can follow me on Twitter for updates. I know the Patreon costs $1 a month, but it's really the only way we can stay independent here on the channel, free from Google's tyrannical reign. Please consider joining there if you want to make sure this show stays afloat in the future. Thanks again for watching. One more thing, I want to give a special thanks to these amazing Patreon supporters. You guys are the best. You guys went above and beyond the rest, and I love you so much for it. If anyone else wants to donate or join our Patreon crew, link in the description. Thanks again.
I want you to go to refugeepause.ca right now and sign our petition.
I say we start a petition.
And sign my petition.
You to sign our petition.
Will you sign my petition?
Sign our petition.
Sign our petition.
And we're asking you to sign it. You to sign that petition. It's
More than 10,000 Albertans have signed our petition already. We're well on our way to our goal of 100,000. Sign our petition.
and sign our petition.
And sign our petition. They can't stop us.